Listen, I know what you're thinking right now. Another article promising millionaire status. Another clickbait headline designed to grab your attention and leave you disappointed. But here's the thing that makes this different. I'm not going to sell you some magic formula or secret cryptocurrency that only the elite know about. Oh. What I'm going to share with you are real habits that actual millionaires practice every single day. And more importantly, why you need to start them right this second if you want any chance of hitting that seven-figure mark by 2026. Time is not on your side anymore. We're already deep into this decade, and 2026 is closer than you think. Oh. Every day you wait is another day someone else is building the wealth you dream about. Every morning you hit snooze instead of getting up to work on your goals is another morning a future millionaire is getting ahead of you. This isn't meant to scare you, but to wake you up to reality. The millionaires of tomorrow are being created today, right now, in this very moment. Oh. The first habit that will transform your financial future is something most people completely misunderstand. It's not about working harder or longer hours, although dedication matters. It's about becoming obsessed with learning skills that directly generate income. Not just any skills, but the ones that solve expensive problems for people or businesses. Think about it this way. Someone who knows how to fix a leaky faucet might charge $50. Someone who knows how to fix a company's revenue leak might charge $50,000. The difference isn't in the difficulty of the skill necessarily, but in the value it creates for others. Every single millionaire I've ever studied or met has one thing in common. They became incredibly good at something that people desperately needed. They didn't just become good, they became so exceptional that people sought them out specifically. They made themselves irreplaceable in their niche. You need to start this process today by identifying what valuable skill you're going to master. Maybe it's digital marketing that can help businesses generate millions in online sales. Maybe it's software development that can automate processes and save companies countless hours. Maybe it's sales, the ability to close deals and generate revenue. Maybe it's content creation that can build audiences of millions. Whatever it is, you need to pick it now and commit to becoming world-class at it. Well, but here's where most people get it wrong. They think they need to spend years in formal education or wait until they're ready before they start. That's the poverty mindset talking. The wealth mindset says you start before you're ready. You learn by doing. You make mistakes fast and early when the stakes are low. You iterate and improve constantly. Rich people understand that perfection is the enemy of progress. They would rather launch something that's 80% ready and improve it based on real feedback than wait months or years trying to make it perfect in isolation. So right now today, you need to make a decision about what skill you're going to develop. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for the perfect choice. Pick something that interests you and that has clear monetary value in the marketplace. Then start learning it immediately. Watch free YouTube tutorials. Take online courses. Read books. But most importantly, stop practicing and applying what you learn right away. Offer to do work for free initially if needed, just to build experience and testimonial. The key is momentum. Well, once you start moving, keep moving. Consistency beats intensity every single time. The second habit that separates millionaires from everyone else is how they think about money itself. Poor people see money as something to spend. Middle-class people see money as something to save. Rich people see money as something to multiply. Wow, this mindset shift is absolutely crucial, and you need to internalize it deep in your bones. Every dollar you earn is not just a dollar. It's a soldier you can send out into the world to fight for you and bring back more soldiers. It's a seed you can plant that will grow into a tree producing fruit for years to come. Now, when you start earning money from your valuable skills, your first instinct might be to celebrate by buying things. That new phone, those nice clothes, that fancy dinner. And listen, I'm not saying you should live like a monk and never enjoy life. But I am saying that in these crucial early years, every dollar you invest instead of spend could be worth $5 or $10 by 2026. The math is simple but powerful. If you invest $1,000 today with a reasonable return, it could be worth significantly more in just a couple years. But if you spend that $1,000 on something that depreciates, it's worth zero or less. Millionaires understand delayed gratification at a cellular level. They can walk past the temptation to buy things that don't serve their long-term goals. They can drive a modest car while their money is working hard in investments. They can live in a smaller apartment while they build their wealth foundation. This doesn't mean being miserable. It means being strategic. It means prioritizing your future millionaire self over your current desire for instant comfort. You need to start seeing every purchase as a choice between your present comfort and your future freedom. That coffee every morning, those subscription services you barely use, that new gadget you don't really need. I'm not saying never buy anything. I'm saying be intentional. Ask yourself if each purchase is bringing you closer to or further from your millionaire goal. Create a system where you automatically invest a percentage of every dollar you earn before you even see it. Pay your future self first. Most people pay everyone else first and invest whatever is left over, which is usually nothing. Millionaires flip this script. They invest first and live on what remains. Start small if you need to. Even if you can only invest $50 or $100 a month right now, start. The habit is more important than the amount initially. As your income grows from developing your valuable skills, your investment amounts will grow too. But you need that foundation, that automatic system that moves money from your income into investments without you having to think about it or make a decision each time. The third habit is something that might surprise you because it goes against what many self-help gurus preach. It's not about positive thinking or vision boards, although mindset matters. It's about developing an almost uncomfortable relationship with rejection and failure. Millionaires fail more than regular people. They get rejected more. They hear no more often. They face criticism and doubt constantly. The difference is, they don't let it stop them. They've built up such a thick skin and such confidence in their vision that external negativity bounces off them like rain off a windshield. Think about this clearly. If you want to become a millionaire by 2026, you're going to need to do things that make you uncomfortable. You're going to need to pitch your services to people who might say no. You're going to need to ask for higher rates than you think you deserve. You're going to need to launch products or services that might fail. You're going to need to put yourself out there publicly and risk looking foolish. Every single one of these actions comes with the possibility of rejection, and that possibility stops most people dead in their tracks. But what if you could rewire your brain to see rejection differently? What if instead of seeing a no as a personal failure, you saw it as data, as information that helps you improve your approach? What if you created a game where you tried to collect as many rejections as possible, because you knew that statistically, a certain number of rejections always leads to a yes? Millionaires play this numbers game instinctively. They know that if they make 100 offers and 90 fail, those 10 successes could change everything. You need to start building your rejection muscle right now. Start small if you're afraid. Ask for a discount somewhere you normally wouldn't. Pitch a client or customer that feels slightly out of your league. Now, post content online that shares your real opinions, even if some people might disagree. Each time you face potential rejection and survive, you become stronger. You realize that rejection doesn't kill you. It doesn't even hurt that much after a while. It just becomes part of the process, like breathing. The most successful people I know have all told me similar stories about their journey. They talk about the countless times they were told their ideas wouldn't work, the investors who passed on them, the customers who chose competitors, the friends and family who doubted them. But they kept going anyway because they had developed this crucial habit of persistence in the face of rejection. They didn't need everyone to believe in them. They just needed to believe in themselves and keep taking action despite the no's. So, here's your assignment starting today. Deliberately put yourself in situations where you might be rejected. The more you do this, the less power rejection has over you. Eventually, you reach a point where you're almost immune to it. You can pitch anything to anyone without fear because you've been rejected so many times that it's completely normal. This fearlessness is what allows millionaires to take the bold actions that create wealth. They're not braver than you. They've just practiced courage more often. The fourth habit is absolutely critical, and yet hardly anyone talks about it in practical terms. It's about building systems instead of relying on motivation. Motivation is wonderful. Those moments when you feel fired up and ready to conquer the world are amazing. But motivation is also fleeting. It comes and goes. You cannot build $1 million life on motivation alone because there will be days, maybe weeks, when you simply don't feel motivated. You feel tired. You feel doubtful. You feel like giving up. Millionaires don't rely on feeling motivated. They rely on systems that run regardless of how they feel. They have morning routines that they execute even on days when they want to stay in bed. They have work schedules that they follow even when they don't feel inspired. They have financial systems that automatically invest and save even when they're tempted to spend. These systems are like rails that keep them moving toward their goals, even when their emotional state would derail them otherwise. Think about how different your life would be if you had systems in place for everything important. A system for learning new skills every single day. Wow. A system for reaching out to potential clients or customers regularly. A system for creating content that builds your audience and reputation. A system for tracking your income and expenses. A system for reviewing your progress and adjusting your strategy. When you have these systems, success becomes almost inevitable because you're consistently taking the right actions whether you feel like it or not. Building systems starts with identifying the key activities that will make you wealthy. What are the 5 or 10 things that if you did them consistently would almost guarantee millionaire status? For most people, these might include learning and practicing valuable skills daily, creating or selling something regularly, networking, and building relationships consistently. Once you identify these key activities, you design systems that make them happen automatically, or at least with minimal decision-making. Well, for example, if learning new skills is critical, maybe your system is that every morning before you do anything else, you spend 1 hour on focused learning. You don't decide each morning whether to do it or what to learn. You've already decided. The decision was made once when you designed the system. Now you just execute. If reaching out to potential clients is critical, maybe your system is that every afternoon you send 5 personalized messages to potential customers. Not when you feel like it, every single day. The system runs regardless of feeling. This is how millionaires operate. They've removed decision fatigue from the equation. They don't wake up each day wondering what they should do. They know exactly what they should do because their systems tell them. They just execute their systems with discipline. And over time, these consistent actions compound into extraordinary results. Someone who learns for 1 hour every day for 2 years will have accumulated over 700 hours of learning. That's enough to become genuinely expert level at most skills. Someone who reaches out to 5 potential customers every day for a year will have made over 1,800 contacts. Even with a low conversion rate, that's going to generate significant business. You need to start building your systems today. Sit down right now and map out what daily, weekly, and monthly actions would make you wealthy if done consistently. Then design simple systems that ensure these actions happen. Use calendar blocking. Use habit tracking apps. Use accountability partners. Use whatever tools work for you. But create systems that don't depend on motivation. Create systems that run on discipline and automation. This is the difference between people who talk about becoming millionaires and people who actually become millionaires. The 5th and final habit is perhaps the most powerful and least understood. It's about leveraging other people's time, money, knowledge, and audiences. Most people operate on a one-to-one model. They trade their time directly for money. 1 hour of work equals 1 hour of pay. This model has a hard ceiling. There are only so many hours in a day. Even if you charge high rates, you can only earn so much when you're trading time for money directly. Millionaires understand this limitation, and they systematically work to break through it by using leverage. Leverage comes in many forms, and you need to start incorporating all of them into your wealth-building strategy. The first type is labor leverage. This means hiring other people to do work that generates income. You might start as a solopreneur doing everything yourself, but to reach millionaire status by 2026, you'll need to build a team. Even a small team can multiply your output dramatically. If you can find, train, and manage people who can do the work as well, or almost as well as you, suddenly you can serve 5 or 10 or 50 clients instead of just the few you could handle alone. But hiring employees the traditional way is expensive and complicated. This is where the modern world gives you an incredible advantage. You can hire freelancers and contractors from anywhere in the world. You can find people with specialized skills for specific projects. You can start small, delegating just a few hours of work per week, and scale up as your revenue grows. The key is to start thinking about this now. Even if you can't afford to hire anyone yet, start documenting your processes. Create systems and procedures for how you do things. This preparation makes it much easier to delegate later. The second type of leverage is capital leverage. This means using other people's money to build wealth. Now, I need to be clear here. I'm not talking about going into bad debt to buy consumer goods. I'm talking about strategic use of capital to generate returns. Well, this might mean raising investment to build a business that can grow faster than you could with just your own saving. It might mean using business credit to purchase inventory or equipment that generates revenue. It might mean partnering with people who provide capital while you provide skills and labor. Capital leverage can accelerate your path to millionaire status dramatically because it removes the constraint of having to save up all the money yourself first. However, it also comes with risk and responsibility. You need to be very strategic about when and how you use other people's money. Make sure the investment will generate returns that exceed the cost of the capital. Make sure you can handle the debt service without putting yourself in financial danger. But don't be afraid of it either. Many millionaires built their wealth partially through smart use of leverage. The third type of leverage is knowledge leverage. This means learning from people who have already achieved what you want to achieve. Instead of figuring everything out through trial and error over decades, you can compress your learning by studying successful people. Read their books, listen to their interviews, take their courses, hire them as coaches or consultants if possible. Every piece of wisdom you gain from someone else's experience is time and money saved on your own journey. Knowledge leverage also means building relationships with people who know things you don't. Surround yourself with people who are smarter than you in different areas. Build a network of experts you can call on for advice. Join communities of people pursuing similar goals. The collective knowledge of a group is always greater than what any individual can possess. Millionaires are voracious learners who constantly seek knowledge from multiple sources. They understand that the right piece of information at the right time can be worth millions. The fourth type of leverage, and possibly the most powerful in our current era, is audience leverage. This means building a following of people who know, like, and trust you. Whether it's through social media, email lists, YouTube channels, podcasts, or blogs. Having an audience gives you the ability to reach thousands or millions of people with your message or offer. Instead of selling one-to-one, you can sell one-to-many. Instead of each sale requiring a personal conversation, you can make sales while you sleep because your content is working for you. Building an audience takes time, which is why you need to start now if you want to leverage this power by 2026. Every day you wait is another day you could have been creating content and building followers. Start sharing your journey. Document what you're learning as you develop your valuable skills. Teach others what you know. Share your wins and your failures. Be authentic and consistent. Over time, even if you start with 0 followers, you can build a substantial audience that becomes a massive asset for your wealth building. Think about the math of audience leverage. If you have 10,000 people following you and you create a product or service that 5% of them buy for $100, that's $50,000 in revenue from a single offer. If you have 100,000 followers, that same 5% conversion at $100 is $500,000. If you can reach 1 million people, the numbers become truly extraordinary. And unlike traditional businesses that require massive overhead, building an audience can be done with minimal investment beyond your time and creativity. The combination of these leverage types is where real wealth is created. Imagine you've developed a valuable skill and built systems to deliver that skill at a high level. You've hired a small team to multiply your output. You've learned from mentors who showed you shortcuts and strategies that would have taken you years to figure out alone. You've built an audience of thousands who trust your expertise. You've raised some capital to accelerate growth. Now you have a business that can generate far more revenue than you could ever create alone, and it's positioned to scale rapidly. This is the model that creates millionaires quickly in the modern economy. It's not about working harder than everyone else, although hard work is necessary. It's not about getting lucky, although luck helps. It's about systematically building and stacking different forms of leverage until you've created a wealth-generating machine that works at a scale far beyond what any individual could achieve alone. Oh. And the beautiful thing is that you can start building these leverage layers right now, today, with whatever resources you currently have. You don't need to wait until you have a lot of money to start hiring. You can delegate one small task to a freelancer for $20. You don't need to wait until you're an expert to start building an audience. And you can share what you're learning as a beginner, which actually makes you more relatable. You don't need to wait until you know everything to learn from mentors. You can start reading books and watching free content from successful people today. Every small step in building leverage compounds over time into massive results. Now let me be direct with you about something important. Everything I've shared with you, these 5 habits, they're simple to understand, but they're not easy to execute. If they were easy, everyone would be a millionaire. The reason most people won't achieve millionaire status by 2026 or ever has nothing to do with lack of information. We live in an age where all the information you could possibly need is available for free online. The barrier is not knowledge. The barrier is execution. The barrier is consistency. The barrier is pushing through resistance day after day when you don't see results yet. There's going to be a period, probably months, where you're working on these habits and you're not seeing much financial return. You're developing your skills, but you're not making much money yet. You're investing, but your portfolio is still small. You're putting yourself out there, but facing rejection. You're building systems, but they feel clunky and inefficient. You're trying to build leverage, but you're still doing most things yourself. This period is where most people quit. They decide it's not working. They go back to their old habits. They convince themselves that becoming a millionaire just isn't realistic for people like them. But here's what you need to understand. That period of little visible progress is not a sign that things aren't working. It's actually a sign that things are working exactly as they should. Success is not linear. It doesn't grow steadily from day one. It compounds exponentially, which means most of the growth happens late in the process after a long period of seemingly small progress. Think of it like building a flywheel. The first push is incredibly hard and barely moves it. The second push is still hard. The 10th push still requires enormous effort for little movement. But somewhere around the 50th or 100th push, the flywheel starts to move on its own. By the 1000th push, it's spinning so fast that it barely requires any effort from you. Your journey to millionaire status is the same. The first months are the hardest because you're building momentum from zero. You're developing skills from scratch. You're creating systems where none existed. Well, you're fighting against years of conditioning and habits that kept you in financial mediocrity. But every day you show up and execute these 5 habits, you're adding energy to your flywheel. You're building momentum that will eventually become unstoppable. The person who becomes a millionaire by 2026 is not necessarily smarter than you or more talented. Well, they're simply the person who kept pushing when everyone else quit. Let me share something that might seem controversial, but I believe it deeply. Becoming a millionaire is not actually about the money. The money is just a scorecard. It's a measurement of the value you've created in the world. What becoming a millionaire is really about is becoming the kind of person who can create that much value. It's about upgrading your skills to the point where you can solve expensive problems. It's about upgrading your mindset to the point where you make wise financial decisions instinctively. It's about upgrading your courage to the point where rejection doesn't slow you down. It's about upgrading your discipline to the point where you have systems that run regardless of motivation. Well, it's about upgrading your strategic thinking to the point where you naturally seek leverage in everything you do. This is why these 5 habits are so powerful. They're not just tactics to make money. They're tools for personal transformation. As you practice them consistently, you become a different person. You become someone who operates at a higher level. Well, you become someone who sees opportunities where others see obstacles. You become someone who takes action where others make excuses. You become someone who creates value where others just consume. And when you become that person, the money follows naturally because the world rewards value creation. So, here's what I want you to do right now. Not tomorrow or next week, but right this moment. Make a commitment to yourself that you're going to implement these 5 habits starting today. Not perfectly, because perfection is impossible. But consistently, because consistency is everything. Choose the valuable skill you're going to develop and schedule your first learning session. Set up your automatic investment system even if you're only investing a tiny amount at first. Well, put yourself in a situation where you might face rejection. Even a small one, just to start building that muscle. Design at least one simple system that will ensure you take important action regardless of how you feel. And take the first step toward building leverage, whether that's creating your first piece of content for an audience or documenting a process so you can eventually delegate it. These actions might seem small. You might think that spending 1 hour learning today or investing $50 or posting one piece of content isn't going to make you a millionaire. And you're right. None of these single actions alone will make you wealthy. But these actions repeated every single day for the next year will transform your life. These actions repeated consistently until 2026 will put you in a completely different financial universe than where you are now. The compound effect of small daily actions is the most powerful force in wealth creation, but it only works if you start and if you don't stop. I want you to imagine something with me for a moment. Imagine it's late 2025 and you're looking at your financial statements. Wow. You see that you've crossed the 7-figure net worth mark. You're a millionaire. How did you get there? What did the journey look like? I can tell you exactly what it looked like, because it's the same for almost everyone who achieves this goal. It looked like showing up every single day even when you didn't feel like it. It looked like learning when you were tired. It looked like investing when you wanted to spend. It looked like facing rejection after rejection and keeping going anyway. It looked like following your systems when they felt boring and repetitive. It looked like slowly building leverage piece by piece until suddenly everything clicked and growth exploded. The journey is not glamorous most of the time. Social media shows you the highlights of successful people, the wins and celebrations. But behind every highlight is thousands of hours of unsexy, repetitive work. The daily grind of improving skills, the discipline of making wise financial choices day after day. The courage to keep putting yourself out there despite criticism. The persistence of following systems that don't show immediate results. The patience of building leverage slowly before you can deploy it powerfully. This is the real journey, and it's actually beautiful in its own way because it's real. It's achievable. It doesn't require you to be special or lucky. It just requires you to be consistent. Now, I know some of you reading this are thinking about your current situation and feeling like becoming a millionaire by 2026 is impossible for you. Maybe you have debt right now. Maybe you're working a job that doesn't pay much. Maybe you have family obligations that take up most of your time. Maybe you've tried before and failed. Maybe you're older or younger than you think you should be. Well, whatever your circumstance, you're coming up with reasons why this doesn't apply to you. Let me be very clear about something. Those reasons are just stories you're telling yourself. They might be true facts, but they're not destiny. They're just your current situation, and situations can change. I've seen people become millionaires starting from debt. And I've seen people build wealth while working full-time jobs by dedicating their early mornings and late nights to their dreams. I've seen people with massive family responsibilities still find time to develop skills and build businesses. I've seen people who failed multiple times finally succeed because they learned from each failure. I've seen people in their 20s and people in their 60s achieve millionaire status. Ages and circumstance matter less than you think. What matters is decision and action. The decision to commit to these habits and the action of implementing them consistently. Yes, your journey might be harder than someone who starts with more advantages. Yes, it might take you more effort or more time. But the habits work regardless of your starting point. Developing valuable skills creates opportunities whether you start rich or poor. Investing compounds whether you start with $1,000 or $100. Building rejection resilience makes you stronger regardless of your background. Creating systems drives consistency for everyone. Building leverage multiplies your efforts no matter where you begin. The only question is whether you'll apply them or whether you'll let your circumstances become an excuse for inaction. Here's a truth that might sting a little bit, but you need to hear it. In 2 years, you're going to be 2 years older whether you pursue these habits or not. In 2 years, it will be 2026. The only question is whether you'll arrive at 2026 as a millionaire or whether you'll arrive there still dreaming about it and making the same excuses. Time is going to pass regardless. You might as well spend it building something extraordinary. You might as well spend it becoming the kind of person who creates massive value and generates wealth. The alternative is spending it exactly as you are now, getting the same results you've always got. Let me tell you about the biggest regret I hear from people who achieved wealth later in life than they could have. It's not that they wish they had worked harder, although some say that. It's not that they wish they had taken bigger risks, although that's common too. The biggest regret is almost always that they wish they had started earlier. They wish they had taken these habits seriously in their 20s or 30s or 40s instead of waiting until their 50s or 60s. They look back and see years that they wasted not because they were lazy, but because they didn't believe it was possible for them. They didn't think becoming a millionaire was realistic, so they never really tried. And now they see that it absolutely was possible. They just didn't commit to the process. Don't be that person looking back with regret. Be the person who took action. Be the person who started today, even though it was hard. Be the person who kept going, even when results were slow. Be the person who arrived at 2026 and could look back with pride at the consistent effort that built something remarkable. Future you will thank present you for making the hard choices that created an easy life. Present comfort creates future struggle. Present struggle creates future comfort. You choose which version you want by the actions you take right now. Wow. I also want to address something about the specific goal of being a millionaire by 2026. For some of you, this might seem too ambitious given your current situation. For others, it might seem too modest. The specific number and time frame matter less than the mindset and habit. But hey, well, oh, whether you hit exactly 1 million by exactly 2026 is less important than whether you transform yourself into the kind of person who can create that level of wealth. If you fall short and only reach 800,000 by 2026, you've still completely transformed your financial life. If you exceed it and reach 2 million, even better. The goal is a target to aim for, not a pass-fail test. Oh. Hey, what matters is the trajectory you're on. Right now, you're on some financial trajectory based on your current habits. If you change nothing, where will you be in 2 years? Probably roughly where you are now. Maybe a little better if you get raises. Maybe a little worse if you face setback. That's the default path. But if you implement these 5 habits starting today, you put yourself on a completely different trajectory. A trajectory that curves upward dramatically over time because of compound effect. Even if you don't hit millionaire status by 2026, you'll be so much further ahead than if you had changed nothing. Think about trajectory more than destination. Oh. Hey! A plane taking off from New York heading to Los Angeles only needs to be a few degrees off course to end up in a completely different state. Small changes in direction create massive differences in destination over time. These 5 habits are your course correction. They're your way of pointing yourself toward wealth instead of mediocrity. Once you make that correction and maintain it consistently, reaching your destination becomes almost inevitable given enough time. There's also something powerful about having a specific deadline like 2026. It creates urgency. It makes this real rather than some vague someday goal. Someday goals don't get achieved because someday never comes. There's always a reason to put it off until tomorrow. But 2026 is a real date on the calendar. It's coming whether you're ready or not. Having that deadline forces you to take this seriously now. It forces you to do the math on what you need to accomplish each month and each quarter to stay on track. It forces you to be honest about whether your current actions align with your goal. Use 2026 as your lighthouse. When you're tired and want to quit, remember that 2026 is coming. When you're tempted to spend money instead of invest it, remember that 2026 is coming. When you're afraid to face rejection, remember that 2026 is coming. When you're feeling unmotivated to follow your systems, remember that 2026 is coming. That date is your accountability. You can't negotiate with time. You can't talk your way into more time. You can only use the time you have as effectively as possible. Now let's talk about something practical. How do you actually start implementing these habits today? Because information without implementation is just entertainment. You might feel inspired reading this, but inspiration fades quickly if it doesn't lead to action. So, here's your concrete action plan for the next 24 hours. Before you go to sleep tonight, you need to have made tangible progress on each of these 5 habits. Not perfect progress, but real progress that proves to yourself that you're serious. For the first habit of developing valuable skills, spend at least 30 minutes today researching what skill you want to focus on. Look at job postings and see what skills command high salaries. Look at successful entrepreneurs and see what skills they used to build wealth. Look at your own interests and strengths and see what valuable skill aligns with them. By the end of today, write down your chosen skill and schedule your first dedicated learning session for tomorrow. Don't wait until you have the perfect course or perfect plan. Just commit to the skill and commit to starting. For the second habit of investing and multiplying money, open an investment account today if you don't have one. If you already have one, increase your automatic contribution by any amount. even just $10 more per month. A. The specific amount matters less than the action of prioritizing your investments. Also, review your spending from the past month and identify at least one recurring expense you can cut. That subscription you don't use, that habit you can replace with something cheaper, that purchase you can delay. B. Direct that money to investments. A. Show yourself that you're serious about paying your future self first. For the third habit of building rejection resilience, do something today that has a chance of rejection. Send a cold email to someone you want to learn from or work with. Post something on social media that shares your real opinion. Ask for a discount somewhere. Apply for an opportunity that feels like a reach. The specific action matters less than the fact that you're deliberately stepping into discomfort. When you survive that rejection, or maybe even succeed, you prove to yourself that you can handle it. Do this once today, and then commit to doing something similar at least once per week going forward. For the fourth habit of building systems, identify the one activity that would most impact your wealth building if done consistently. Maybe it's learning for an hour each morning. Maybe it's reaching out to potential clients each afternoon. Maybe it's creating content each evening. Whatever it is, design a simple system to ensure it happens. Block out time on your calendar. Set a reminder on your phone. Tell someone who will hold you accountable. Make it as easy as possible to do this activity and as hard as possible to skip it. Today, create that system and execute it once. For the fifth habit of building leverage, take one small step toward any form of leverage. Wow. If you want to eventually hire people, document one process in your work today so it could be taught to someone else later. If you want to build an audience, create and post one piece of content today, even if it's just a single paragraph on social media. If you want to learn from mentors, buy one book by someone successful in your field or watch one in-depth interview with them. If you want to raise capital someday, start learning about it by reading one article about fundraising or business credit. One small step toward leverage today, and then commit to more steps each week. If you do these 5 things before you sleep tonight, you will have fundamentally changed your trajectory. You won't be a millionaire yet, obviously. You might not see any results yet. But you will have proven to yourself that you're someone who takes action. You will have built a tiny bit of momentum that makes tomorrow's actions easier. You will have started the compound effect that will transform your life by 2026. And that's worth everything. The next morning you wake up and you do it again. You spend time developing your skill. You stick to your investment plan. You do something that risks rejection. You follow your system. You take another step toward leverage. Day after day after day. Some days will be better than others. Some days you'll feel motivated and make huge progress. Some days you'll struggle just to maintain the minimum. But you keep showing up. You keep executing the habits. You trust the process even when you can't see the results yet. After a month of this, you'll start to notice changes. Your skill level will be noticeably better than when you started. Your investment account will be growing. Rejection will sting a little less. Your systems will become more natural and efficient. Your leverage will start to show early signs of working. These changes will be small, but they'll be real. They'll prove to you that the process works. This proof will motivate you to continue, to push harder, to stay consistent. After 3 months, the changes will be more dramatic. You'll have developed legitimate competence in your chosen skill. You might even have landed your first client or customer. Your investments will be accumulating. You'll have faced dozens of rejections and realize they don't define you. Your systems will be running smoothly most days. Your audience or team or other leverage will be starting to provide real value. You'll look back at where you were 3 months ago and barely recognize that person. After 6 months, you'll hit an inflection point. Hey. This is where many people, 6 months is long enough to see real results, but also long enough to get tired if you've been relying on motivation instead of systems. This is where the fourth habit becomes critical. Your systems need to be so ingrained that they run automatically. You don't think about whether to do your daily learning, or daily outreach, or daily investing. You just do it because that's what you do. It's part of your identity now. At the 6-month mark, you should do a serious review. Look at your financial progress. Look at your skill development. Look at your rejection resilience. Look at how well your systems are working. Look at what leverage you've built. Celebrate the progress, because there will be real progress to celebrate. But also identify what's not working. What needs to be adjusted or improved? What opportunities have you discovered that you didn't know about 6 months ago? Use this review to refine your approach for the next 6 months. After a year, you'll be a completely different person operating in a completely different financial reality. Your income will likely be significantly higher because your skills are more valuable. Your net worth will be growing because you've been investing consistently. Your confidence will be much stronger because you faced rejection repeatedly and survived. Your productivity will be much higher because your systems are optimized. Your reach and impact will be much greater because you've built leverage. The compound effect of 12 months of consistent action is genuinely transformative. But here's the crucial thing about year 1. It's preparation. It's building the foundation. It's creating the machine that will generate wealth. For many people, year 1 doesn't create millionaire-level wealth yet. It creates the capability to generate millionaire-level wealth. It's like building a factory. The factory doesn't produce much during construction, but once it's built and operational, it can produce enormous value with increasing efficiency. Well, year 2, which would take you into 2026, is when that factory really starts producing. Your advanced skills can now command premium prices. Your investment account has had more time to compound. Your rejection resilience lets you go after opportunities others won't. Your systems are so refined they run with minimal effort. Your leverage is now substantial enough to multiply your efforts dramatically. This is when things can move very quickly. This is when your net worth can jump by hundreds of thousands in a single year because all the pieces you've been building finally click together. I've seen this pattern play out countless times. Someone commits to these habits. Year 1 is hard work with modest financial results. They're tempted to quit because they're not seeing the exponential growth yet. But they persist. They trust the process. They keep building. Then suddenly in year 2, everything explodes. Their business scales rapidly. Their investments hit strong returns. Their audience or team or other leverage creates opportunities they couldn't have imagined. They look back and realize that every hard day in year 1 was essential preparation for the abundance of year 2. This is why you cannot quit during the hard early months. If you quit when you don't see results, you waste all the work you've already put in. You abandon the factory when it's half built. You give up right before the breakthrough was going to happen. The people who become millionaires aren't necessarily more talented than those who don't. They're just the ones who didn't quit when it got hard. They're the ones who kept pushing when others stopped. They're the ones who believed in the process even when the results weren't visible yet. Hey, let me address one more potential obstacle you might face. Other people. When you commit to these habits, when you start acting differently with money, when you start working on your skills instead of watching TV, when you start facing rejection deliberately, when you start following systems religiously, when you start building leverage, people around you might not understand. And they might think you're being unrealistic. They might tell you to be more practical. They might resent that you're changing because it highlights that they're not. You need to be prepared for this. Not everyone is going to support your millionaire journey. Some people will actively discourage you, usually out of their own fear and limitations. They'll project their doubts onto you. They'll point out every setback as proof that you should give up. They'll celebrate if you fail because it validates their decision not to try. You cannot let these people determine your path. You cannot let their limitations become your limitations. This doesn't mean you need to cut everyone out of your life who doesn't understand. But it does mean you need to be selective about whose opinions you value. Seek out people who have achieved what you want to achieve or who are pursuing similar goals. Build relationships with people who inspire you to level up rather than people who make you feel comfortable staying where you are. Find mentors, even informal ones, who can guide you through challenges. Join communities of ambitious people who will celebrate your progress and encourage you to keep going. The voices you listen to regularly will shape your thinking and your action. If you're constantly surrounded by people who think becoming a millionaire is impossible or unrealistic or selfish, you'll start to believe that too. But if you're surrounded by people who see wealth creation as a natural result of providing value, who celebrate success, who take action despite fear, you'll adopt those beliefs and behavior. Your environment shapes you more than you realize, so design your environment deliberately. This might mean spending less time with certain people and more time with others. It might mean unfollowing social media accounts that make you feel jealous or inadequate, and following accounts that educate and inspire you. It might mean changing where you spend your time and who you spend it with. These might feel like difficult choices, but they're necessary. You're trying to make a dramatic change in your life. You can't make dramatic changes while maintaining all the same influences and relationships that created your current situation. At the same time, don't become arrogant or dismissive of people who aren't on the same path as you. Remember that everyone is dealing with their own struggles and limitations. Just because someone isn't pursuing wealth doesn't mean they're wrong or less valuable. It just means they have different priorities. You can respect their choices while still making different choices for yourself. You can maintain relationships with people who don't understand your goals while also building new relationships with people who do. As you progress on this journey, you'll also need to manage your own psychology carefully. There will be times when you doubt yourself, times when you wonder if you're being stupid or naive, times when you see others succeeding faster and feel jealous or inadequate, times when you fail at something and feel like giving up. These moments are completely normal. Every millionaire has experienced them. The difference is that millionaires don't let these moments define them or stop them. When doubt creeps in, remind yourself why you started. Reconnect with your vision of what life will be like when you're financially free. Remember, the sacrifices you're making now are temporary, but the results will be permanent. When you feel jealous of others' success, reframe it as proof that what you want is possible. Someone achieving the goals you have proves that it can be done. Learn from them instead of resenting them. When you fail at something, extract the lesson adjust your approach, and try again. Failure is only permanent if you quit. Otherwise, it's just expensive education. Hey. I don't know what. Develop practices that keep you mentally strong. Maybe that's meditation or exercise or journaling. Maybe it's regularly consuming content that inspires and educates you. Maybe it's reviewing your progress regularly to see how far you've come. Maybe it's having an accountability partner or coach who checks in on you. Whatever works for you, make it a non-negotiable part of your routine. Hey. Your mental state will determine whether you persist or quit. So managing your mental state is just as important as managing your finances or skill. There's something else you need to understand about becoming a millionaire. It will change you in ways beyond just your bank account. The person you become through this process is different from who you are now. You'll develop confidence that comes from knowing you can achieve hard things. You'll develop patience from watching your efforts compound slowly over time. You'll develop resilience from facing setbacks and continuing anyway. You'll develop wisdom about money and value and human nature. These character developments might be even more valuable than the money itself because they'll serve you for life. Wealth also brings new challenges and responsibilities. Having $1 million means you need to make wise decisions about how to protect and grow it. It means you might have people asking you for money or trying to sell you things. It means you need to think about taxes and estate planning and things that weren't relevant when you had less. Don't let these future challenges scare you, but be aware that wealth is not the end of all problems. It's just a different set of problems, generally much more pleasant ones, but problems nonetheless. Wow. The goal is not just to become a millionaire, but to become someone who can sustain and grow wealth long term. This is why the habits are so important. They're not just about getting to $1 million. They're about becoming the kind of person who naturally creates and multiplies value. If you develop the habits but then abandon them once you hit your goal, you'll likely lose the wealth over time. But if the habits become part of who you are, the wealth will be sustainable and will continue to grow. Think about athletes who train intensely to win a championship, but then let themselves go afterward. They often struggle to maintain their success. Now, compare that to athletes who fall in love with the training process itself, who continue to work hard even after winning because that's who they are. Those athletes stay on top for years or decades. The same principle applies to wealth. Fall in love with the habits that create wealth, not just the wealth itself. When you do that, the wealth becomes almost a side effect of living in alignment with your values and practices. As we come to the end of this guide, I want to leave you with one final thought. You have a choice to make right now. Not about whether you want to be a millionaire, because obviously you do, or you wouldn't have read this far. No. The choice is about whether you're willing to become the person who does what millionaires do. Whether you're willing to endure the discomfort of growth. Whether you're willing to delay gratification. Whether you're willing to face rejection. Whether you're willing to follow systems when you don't feel motivated. Whether you're willing to think strategically about leverage. Whether you're willing to stay consistent for years. This choice is not made once. It's made every single day through your action. Every morning when you wake up, you choose whether to execute your habits or hit snooze on your dreams. Every time you earn money, you choose whether to invest it or spend it. Every time you face potential rejection, you choose courage or comfort. Every time you're tempted to skip your systems, you choose discipline or convenience. Every time you could build leverage or stay in your comfort zone, you choose growth or stagnation. These daily choices accumulate into your destiny. The beautiful and terrifying thing about this is that you have complete control. You can't control the economy or your starting point, or whether specific opportunities work out. But you can control whether you show up every day and execute these 5 habits. You can control whether you stay consistent. You can control whether you learn from failures or let them stop you. You can control your trajectory even if you can't control every outcome. No. That power is both empowering and humbling because it means you can't blame circumstances if you don't succeed. It means you have to take full responsibility. But taking full responsibility is actually liberating because it means your success doesn't depend on anyone else. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect circumstances. You don't need luck, although it helps. No, you just need commitment to the process. You just need to show up and do the work day after day. That's it. That's a secret that's not really a secret because it's incredibly simple, even though it's not easy. So here we are, at the moment of truth. You've read about the 5 habits that will make you a millionaire by 2026. You understand them intellectually. You probably even agree with them. The question is what you do next. Do you close this and go back to your regular life? Maybe feeling inspired for a few hours before the feeling fades. Do you save this to read again later, adding it to the pile of things you'll get to someday? Or do you take action right now, today, this moment? I can't make that choice for you. I can give you the roadmap, but you have to drive. No, I can tell you what works, but you have to do the work. I can show you the habits of millionaires, but you have to adopt those habits yourself. No one is coming to save you or hand you wealth. But the good news is, you don't need anyone to save you. You already have everything you need to start. You have a brain that can learn valuable skills. You have access to information. You have time. Well, you have the ability to make different choices starting right now. 2 years from now, you'll wish you had started today. So start today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when conditions are perfect. Right now, take the first small action on each of the 5 habits. That action will lead to the next action, which will lead to the next, which will create momentum, which will transform your life completely by 2026. The path is clear. The choice is yours. Make it count. Your future millionaire self is watching you right now, hoping you'll make the decision that creates their reality. Don't let them down. Don't let yourself down. You have one life. Wow. You have one chance at 2026. Make it the year you arrive as a millionaire by starting today with the habits that create millionaires. The time is now. The person is you. The path is clear. Go build your wealth. Now.